Hello, Oracles! Well, Tesla was up over another 2% today. This was awesome news. We have been anticipating this. We've discussed it before. We're on this nice upward trend going into the annual shareholder meeting. We're going to be discussing more about that in the morning, but seeing this nice upward trend continue is outstanding. So now paying attention to the entire market, we have been trending up in the entire market as well. Now my gut lately has been telling me this seems like a little bit of FOMO buying going on. Now I'm very bullish. I want to see the stocks keep going up. That's my nature. But I also need to be realistic, and looking at some of the information and news that we have been getting, we do see a very positive outlook for the entire economy and the stock market, but there's some near-term stuff that's going on and we may be running a little higher than we should. Now, something that Seed had mentioned a while back is when we cross that 4,000 threshold in the S&P, we could be looking at a gamma squeeze going on. Seems like lately we have also been seeing hedge funds getting squeezed a little bit because all of the indices have crossed back over the 50-day moving average. So again, these are bullish signals, but a lot of this run up could be a little bit of a squeeze going on, just something to pay attention to. I don't know how long it's going to last. Naturally, we are going to get a pullback in the market at some point. I just think the longer we continue this run up, the further back we are going to pull when we do get that pullback. So again, not trying to spread FUD, not trying to be bearish at all, just throwing some caution out there and saying, just pay attention to what's going on. Don't get too caught up in the euphoria. Be excited. This is a great time. We definitely have earned this over the first half of the year with all of the beatings that we have taken, but don't get super excited and think that we are just going to run to the moon right now. So just brace yourselves. Tesla could outperform the market a little bit because we have the annual shareholder meeting, the split most likely coming up, but we are still going to track with the macro environment for the most part. And so some of the news that has caught my attention to kind of give me this little bit of a pause, a little bit of a cautionary stance is we got the news out of the OPEC meeting today that they are going to be releasing 100,000 barrels per day extra come the beginning of September. This is less than what we thought we were going to be getting when President Biden met with Saudi Arabia. So we got that news today, but the market still continued to run. So I don't know if the market was running because yes, we are looking at more output coming out, which could bring the gas prices down, or, I don't know how much was priced in. Did the market price in a certain amount of barrels per day that they thought we were going to get previously? Didn't seem like it when Biden went out there to meet with them, so maybe they didn't price anything in because nothing was set in stone. But when he did meet, we had a little rally coming out of it. So again, I don't know how the market is playing that, but seeing as this is less than we thought we were going to get is a little bit of a red flag for me. We are also getting some Fed members coming out and mentioning how, the same thing that Kaskari had mentioned over the weekend about, hey, the market is anticipating that the Fed is going to pause at the next meeting, but they're saying that's not true. That is not true that we're going to pause. It's a possibility, but we need to pay attention to the data because we still are aggressively trying to fight inflation. So high interest rate hikes are still on the table as a possibility. So we had Mary Daly from the San Francisco Fed saying this, and we had Thomas Barkin from the Richmond Fed saying the same exact thing. And Thomas also had stated that, we are going to be fighting inflation aggressively, and turning ourselves into a recession might be an outcome from us fighting this inflation. So again, now the Fed is throwing out the recession word. Multiple Fed members are coming out saying that high interest rate hikes are still on the table, yet the market continues to rally off of this. So does the market think that the Fed is just saying these things to try and cool it off? Is the market ignoring this because we're in a gamma squeeze? I don't know. It looks like we are getting CPI expectations coming out, and CPI expectations as of right now look like they're about 8.9%. So that is lower than the 9.1% that we had in July for the June data, but it's still higher than the expectations that we had, which was 8.8%. So that's still really high, especially considering oil prices have been coming down over the course of the month. We have been seeing commodity prices coming down, and we have been seeing core inflation coming down as well. So again, we are in this great place. I love the rally that we are in, but the fact that we're running through getting some of this news and continue to go greener and greener with this news coming out just gives me a little cautionary pause. That's it. just keeping it on my radar as something to pay attention to, as we may be looking at a potential rug pull coming and maybe a little bit of a sell-off on the horizon. So that's just my quick little warning. I'm still trading, and as the way I always do, I'm putting $20 a day into Tesla. I am still doing that. I'm still putting $50 a week into cash. So I'm still sitting on this. I still have my 10% cash on the sidelines, anticipating this next pullback, because I think the next pullback that we get is going to be the last really big pullback. How far we go, I don't know. Gonna still pay attention to that, but that's why I'm saving the cash, because after that, I think we do start to climb out of this. I do still think that the bottom that we saw back in May was the bottom, and we are going to climb out of this, but the run that we're on right now is a little bit exaggerated. That's all I'm saying. So I'm gonna keep my cash on the side to be able to deploy it when we get this next pullback, if we get it, and then I'm gonna go from there. Now, looking at other retailers who are still dumping a lot of money into stocks, Gary Black was mentioning an article from Vanda Research talking about right now there are more inflows into Tesla from retail investors than we have seen since 2020, right before the split that we got at that point. So again, retail investors are loving the fact that Tesla is going to split. They are dumping money into the stock right now ahead of the split, trying to catch it before it runs any further. Last time we had the run going into the split, the stock ran about 81% over 3 weeks. Totally different scenario at that time, as we had nearly zero interest rates and we were bouncing out of the V bottom from the COVID crash that we had. So a lot of euphoria went into that, a lot of good positivity and bullish reasons went into that. High growth, zero interest rates, very risk on environment, so we ran up. This time around, different. We're in a rising interest rate environment, not as conducive for a massive run, but we've also seen Amazon and Google this year do their splits and run a little bit into them in the week ahead of time. So we were probably most likely going to see a run into the Tesla split, and this is why a lot of retail investors are getting in now as we are on this run into the annual shareholder meeting, because we're probably going to get another run into the split. So when are we going to get this pullback? Again, I don't know if we are going to get it. We may see another run. It may be going into the CPI data next week. August 10th, we get that CPI data, and then we get the PPI data right after that. So getting those two pieces of information might be something that is going to cause us to have this little pullback going on. Now again, the RSIs have been running hot, so we are due potentially for a pullback as we are overbought. And if we get that opportunity, maybe we get a pullback before the split, and then we'll get the run into the split. So we may have another good buying opportunity. I can't see the future. I don't know. That's what I am planning for. But again, I still add every day because I don't know what's going to happen in the future. And so when it comes to the stock price today, we did not test that 935 mark that I was hoping we were going to get a second test on. Judging by how we kept on running today, I have a feeling we may test that tomorrow as we head into the annual shareholder meeting. So things to pay attention to tomorrow. Things can go any direction whatsoever, but we've been on this nice upward trend. We are looking to potentially test that 935 mark. If we bounce off, we may see it, and we've seen it in the past. Intraday may hit 935, back down a little bit, and then test it again. And if we break through that 935, then the next step is going to be 950. We may actually see this happen after hours. Now, after hours, there's usually less volume, so the volatility could be higher. So I think a lot of the movement's going to take place based upon whatever news we get from this. Now, Farzad had made a great video about his predictions as to what's going on. I think he did a great job of discussing what they're most likely going to be talking about. And when it comes down to it, they may not actually talk about any new products, maybe just kind of further information about the robo-taxi, as that is a focus that they've had. Otherwise, maybe some new factories. I think new news is what is going to cause the stock to continue running and maybe break that 950 mark. But if we don't get any new news from this, and we just get what we have already expected, which is, the split getting approved, them just talking about the 50% year-over-year growth, the ramp expectations, a great second half, things that we've basically already heard about, and they're just reiterating or maybe being a little more excited about, giving us a few more details. If that's what happens, we might see the pullback come for Tesla, that little bit of a cool-off on Friday. Now again, we're still in the upward channel that we're on. There's room to come down from the position that we're at right now and still stay in that channel. So even if we close red, and stay in that channel, that's still a bullish sign, still a good thing to pay attention to. And the range that I see right now based upon the upward trend that we are on is we can push as high as $1,000 and then pull down to 900 and still stay within that range tomorrow. So something that I'm going to be paying attention to within that range, 900 to 1,000, that's a huge range. $100 in one day is a massive range. So that's a big room, but with the annual shareholder meeting going on, it's totally possible that we can see that, especially when we get to after hours. So tomorrow's going to be super exciting. Excited to see where we end up falling in that range, making sure we do stay in that range. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. How high do you think we could potentially push tomorrow? Do you think we can get to that $1,000 mark tomorrow? Do you think we're going to close below 900 and maybe get a sell-off? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And let me know also, do you feel this FOMO going on? Maybe it's just my own gut feeling, but let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you think the entire market is kind of getting a little too hot and we're due for a pullback. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on both of those. And just as your last reminder, if you have not voted yet, I'm putting that link down in the description. You guys can vote down there. We have until midnight tonight Eastern Standard Time to make that vote happen. And then we find out the results tomorrow. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord chat. That link is down in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel any further, we do have a Patreon. That link is also in the description. Thank you so much. Have a great one.